Graeme Base was born in Amersham in the south of England in 1958. He lives now in Melbourne, Australia, with his wife and 3 children. He has lived in Australia since he was 8. He is an author and illustrator. He is also known as being one of the world's leading creators of picture books. Graeme Base had always wanted to be an artist, or maybe even possibly a musician. Writing came later when he figured out that if he wrote stories for himself, he could draw what he wanted instead of having someone else draw pictures for his books. When illustrating, he uses watercolors and colored pencils on cartridge paper. Sometimes he will use airbrush. He is also learning how to do illustrations on the computer. Each picture that he illustrates takes between 2 and 6 weeks for him to create. Roughly, it will take him 2 years to create a whole book full of illustrations. He has written and illustrated a total of 20 books over the past 33 years. Some of his books have even been translated into French, German, Danish, Taiwanese, Indonesian, Hebrew, Mandarin, Korean, and Japanese. Graeme Base is an amazing author and illustrator of children's books. Next, I want to show you a sneak peek of a couple of his books. I'm sure you will love them. The first book is Uno's Garden.
Do you like animals? What about extraordinary animals? Have you ever heard of a moopalops? What about a puddle butt? How about a flipper flap? What about a snortle pig? In the book Uno's Garden by Graeme Base, he gives us an image of a bunch of extraordinary animals. Graeme Base is a very interesting author. Not only is he the author of his books, he's also the illustrator. He was born in Amersham, England, but he's moved to Australia, and that's where he currently lives. England to Australia is a big move, but you will see he is very, very talented in the work that he does. If you want to pick up a really good book by him, check out Uno's Garden. It addresses what happens when a garden turns into a small town, into a village, into a city, into a very populated community. What's going to happen? What happens to the animals? Do they all end up dying? Do they repopulate the earth? Well, Graeme Base describes this in his book Uno's Garden. If you're interested in nice pictures, if you're interested in amazing animals, and if you're interested in a little bit of math, feel free to go get Graeme Base's copy of Uno's Garden and check it out for yourself. It's a great read. Enjoy.
Today I'm reading the story The Waterhole by Graeme Base. The waterhole is based in the rainforest with many, many different types of animals. Now these animals keep drinking from the same waterhole. And as the story goes on, the groups of animals get larger and larger. But what happens to the waterhole, do you think? Is there just going to be water every single time? What happens if it doesn't rain? What happens to the waterhole then? Let's read the first few pages. Just get you started. One rhino drinking at the waterhole. Snort, splash. Delicious. 2 tigers lapping at the waterhole. Grrr. Goodness gracious, how very delicious. 3 toucans squawking around the waterhole. Ark, ark, ark. It's party time, fellas. Drink up. But something was happening. 4 snow leopards gazing at the waterhole. Purr. We must be careful, brothers. I wonder why they said that. The pool was getting smaller. 5 moose wallowing in the waterhole. Moo, moo, moo. Hey, get your hoof out of my ear. And smaller. 6 catfish floundering in the waterhole. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And smaller. 7 pandas sipping at the waterhole. Tisk, tisk, tisk. After you. No, I insist. 8 ladybirds meeting by the waterhole. Bzz. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I propose we establish a subcommittee to report on the water level crisis before the end of the financial year. All in favor say bzzz. Now, what's going to happen to the water hole? I keep saying it's smaller and smaller. But, so they're going to run out soon? What happens when they run out? Will the animals have any water left? How are they going to find more water? Can't wait for you to read The Water Hole by Graeme Base.
In the book Jungle Drums, written and illustrated by Graeme Base, we start our journey off with a little warthog whose name is Nigeri. Little Nigeri never felt very included. He was the smallest warthog in Africa. He wanted to be like all the other bigger warthogs and other beautiful animals that lived across the river. He would get made fun of by both groups of animals, and he was not happy at all. One day, he came across the oldest and wisest animal in the jungle, the wildebeest, whose name was Naumbu. Naumbu gave Nigeri some magic drums. The magic drums would grant little Nigeri wishes whenever he played them. Naumbu made sure to warn little Nigeri by saying, "Wishes can come true, but not always as you expect." That night, Nigeri played those drums. When he woke up, all of the beautiful animals that lived across the river had lost their stunning spots, striking stripes, impressive horns, curly trunks, graceful necks, and gorgeous plumage were all gone. What happened? That night, Nigeri played those drums again. This time, something amazing happened to all the warthogs. The third night, Nigeri played the drums again. This time, something happened to both groups of animals. What keeps happening to these animals? Will they ever be able to go back to normal? Will they ever really be happy with who they are? Will little Nigeri stop getting made fun of by all the other animals? What do the jungle drums do for all the animals? If you want to find out what happens to little Nigeri and all the other animals in the jungle, find the book Jungle Drums and continue reading. Have fun!